Aloha, it's Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions here to tell you some exciting updates and our educational opportunities. First of all, you've asked, we've listened, you said you wanted more ways to learn about phase 1 interceptive, and we've got it for you. So we have our traditional way that's always been available, and I'm excited to tell you about it. First of all, we've always been all about having your ortho education your way. So for those of you from the United States, you will get this reference. Your ortho opportunity is now your way. And shoot, I'm about to get wet, and that's about to be my way, so I better hurry up and tell you about it. Okay, number one is the way we've always had it. It's our regular phase 1 course. At the time of publication, it's $44 per CE unit. It's 13 CE units. You can get it at straightsmilesolutions.com. Very easy to find, very easy to take. You have an entire year to finish your CE credits, get your certificate, and start implementing, and we're here to help you. Straightsmile Solutions, check it out. Second way has always been available as well. We have our YouTube channel, and it is free. It is not any money per CE unit because there is no CE units, because it's free. There are literally hundreds and hundreds of hours of CE opportunities without the CE units, without the ADD case, but you still get the education and it's free. Yes, you have to sit through some boring ads. Yes, that does help pay for my coffee. Thanks so much. I enjoyed it this morning. But the information is there. No, I cannot put it in a logical order. It's YouTube. So you're going to have to sort through it. If you want free, that's how it is. And the third opportunity has just been launched this week. And this is with my team members, the Wongs. They are amazing from Straight Teeth Naturally team. We collaborate with them. We've done some courses with them before. And now we are excited to announce our new updated on-demand course with them. So basically, essentially, their team liked what we taught for phase 1 education, thought it would help their doctors, and so they have taken our same course that had the CE, and they're now offering it in their learning management platform without CE. Exact same thing as the $44 per CE unit. However, it's a little bit less cost. The pricing is dynamic, so you're gonna have to talk to their team in terms of how the pricing works. And any questions you have about what's offered is offered through their team. This is fully through their team. It's my words, it's my course, but it's through their team. So if you have any questions about pricing, what it offers, reach out to the Straight Teeth Naturally team. Although, as always, I'm here if you have orthodontic questions. If you buy the course, I'll be glad to answer any questions that come out. I am so excited to get to know y'all, and I hope to see you soon. Check out our courses. Phase 1 education is the way that you need to learn in order to do any orthodontics. It is the foundation of orthodontics. And it doesn't matter if you want to learn about fixed expanders, aligners, interproximal, IPE, Invisalign expanders, traditional braces, or lots of other functional appliance. We teach you everything from fixed to removal. As long as it's not surgical, we will teach it to you. Hope to talk to you more soon. Take care. Aloha.
Okay, welcome everyone. I've got here my dear brother, Dr. Simon Wong, based in Melbourne, Australia, and with us here from Hawaii. Aloha, Dr. Amanda Wilson. How's everything, Amanda? Good?
Aloha, great. Yeah, thanks.
All right, Simon, you want to take it away? I'll leave it to you for the proper intro.
The purpose of today's little chit chat with Dr. Amanda Wilson is to introduce her My Phase 1 Smile program. So wanted to welcome Amanda. Amanda is a California registered specialist orthodontist, 20 plus years in clinical practice, and founder of the consulting company Straightsmile Solutions. She founded the company in 2016 to provide one-on-one consulting services for primary care dentists on all things orthodontics, including phase 1 and phase 2. So Amanda, tell us a little bit about your consulting firm and why you created it and the services that you provide.
Sure, yeah. I actually started my consulting company. It wasn't officially a company. It was just a way to help my friends, basically, and my husband. All my dental school friends, because a lot of them had ortho questions. And as I moved along in practice, they'd say, hey, can you look at this Invisalign Clincheck, or can you look at this case, or can you look at my kid? And over time, I just realized I'm pretty good at explaining things. And I actually sometimes enjoy that, even more than working with patients. Sometimes it's really fun to teach people and to feel like you have a bigger thumbprint. If you work with, it's nothing wrong with working with patients. Maybe you're seeing 10, 15, 20 patients a day, maybe more if an actual orthodontist. But if you're a general or primary care dentist, you can sometimes see more because you have so many patients in your office that are coming in for regular recall visits or new patient visits. And I really realized that there was a lot of ortho being done out there, especially in the United States. I can't speak for Australia. Um, but that really was kind of below standard of care. And there was a lot of doctors who wanted to learn how to provide really good non-extraction airway focused ortho, but they just couldn't find the education that wasn't biased. And by that, I mean that I don't affiliate with any particular product or system. Pretty much all the other that I know of, maybe I'm wrong, but phase one content or courses that are out there are all affiliated with a certain product or system that you have to pay a big price in order to get trained up on. And then they only teach you how to use their product. And I realized that there's so many opportunities out there to create amazing smiles using so many products that aren't necessarily proprietary. By proprietary, I mean that they're not covered by patents necessarily or active patents. So you can just go to any lab and get appliances made that, or any really good ortho lab that can help to fix airways, grow jaws, move jaws in the right direction, and really help smiles. And that's my really long answer as to why I started doing what I was doing.
No, that's fantastic because it also, answers one of the questions that is always brought up when I am, recommending the services of other teachers, for example, like yourself. Because one of the questions is, well, why am I promoting Amanda Wilson with her um, competitive competition of early interception
Oh, I don't
orthodontic?
think we're competitive at all, actually. I think that we're actually super synchronous in terms of how we
Hmm.
think of things. And it's just, I mean, I welcome anyone I talk to take your course because it is just one more way to think, one more way to see things. Nothing that you say is wrong to me at all. And it was actually a first for me attending a phase one course or phase one focus course where I was like, wow, everything he's saying is right. It might be a little different in how I do it, but it's not wrong. And if that
Hmm.
works for you and doctors, then please learn this way because this is good orthodontics.
Yeah. And, the other component to that answer for that particular question is that I am very much proprietary, right? There's a very
Mm-hmm.
specific method that I teach and a specific technique and specific set
True.
of protocols.
Mm-hmm.
And my biggest concern is, I've learned a huge range of orthodontics and phase one treatments. And I've kind of narrowed my focus into my area. But a lot of the doctors who are joining the program, they have a much more limited scope of
Mm-hmm.
knowledge. And what I feel is really important is not to lock someone into just one technique, my technique.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
your system of teaching allows my students to get a better understanding of how ortho is done in the broader scope of professional practice so that, hey, they can make a decision. Yes, I like Simon's technique. No, perhaps I prefer some of the things that Amanda teaches. And that allows ultimately the doctors to offer proper informed consent to their patients because we can't just tell people this is the only way, this is the best way, you have to do it this way. So I think there is enormous synergy for me to be able to recommend your teachings to
Thank
help
you.
my students get the broad view of how things are done in the world.
And
Okay.
likewise, yeah, same.
Perfect, perfect. So let's explore a bit about your program. So originally it was a series of tutorials and blogs that you put up on YouTube,
Mhm.
but you've kind of created such a volume of information that you've had to put them into some form of structure so that doctors can actually get heads and tails of the process. And I believe that there's a reading list now. So from my understanding, we've got a list of the topics that you cover.
Mhm.
So I'm just going to very briefly run through them so that the doctors are aware of what they are getting into. So initially, you kind of break it down to the rationale for phase one, treatment timing, case selection, which is in synchronous with what I'm teaching. But you also go into a little bit about airways and ceph analysis. I don't spend that much time on ceph analysis. What do you cover in your program?
Yeah, sure. So basically the course that I made, let me tell you guys a little bit more about it just so you guys can understand what you're purchasing. So like you mentioned, I have a ridiculous amount of YouTube videos, and by ridiculous,
Mm.
it is ridiculous. I have over 2,400 at the time of that we're discussing today, just baked in my YouTube. The thing about YouTube, which is great, is that you can just keep recording every day or 3 times a week and make content. And you can organize it a little bit. You can see I have some playlists, but within the certain playlists, say phase one, I have maybe 350 braces. I have a couple hundred. Invisalign, I have maybe 500. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Um, it there really isn't a way to put it in the logical order once you get that much volume. So it kind of shuffles and it recommends. And when you learn things out of order, it's going to be really confusing. I mean, if you already have a pretty good background, you can kind of scroll through and pick the ones you like. But I realized that, yeah, everything on YouTube is free. Nothing wrong with that. Yes, there might be a few ads, which give me like 3 cents per video, which buys my coffee, but that's about all it does. So, I spend a lot more money on the YouTube than I get back from it. But for me, I feel it's really important for me to put the YouTube content out there because there's a lot of people in countries that absolutely cannot afford anything that I sell, be it books or other things, or maybe they just don't have access to it. And at least YouTube, I know they're getting good information, good orthodontics, and one of the most valuable feedback I get, sometimes almost every day, I get an email from someone from Africa or someone from Indonesia, and they're like, thank you so much. I'm learning this, and now I'm trying this on my patients, and thank you so much. It's really helping a lot of people in my small town or in my country. So that is really just my way to give back, is the YouTube. I made a course and I've done webinars that have actual CE, and that's been out there for years. But sometimes there's people from some countries, or even from the US, that don't need CE. Like whether their state doesn't value it, every state has different requirements, or they already have plenty and they're like, I just want the information, but I would like it trimmed down from what's in YouTube and put in a logical order. And when you and your brother mentioned to me that maybe you could make a course for me that we could make a little bit lower price than the ones with CE, because we don't have to pay somebody to you know, um,
Mm. The
organize the
certificate.
CE and give the credits and everything, which is costly if you guys have never done it, and it's time consuming with the quizzes and all that. You guys actually own a platform that it's a educational platform that I thought was really cool when I took your course. And I said, gosh, this would be cool if I could have my course there, but have it at a cheaper price point without CE for people who maybe are looking for something in between the mess of YouTube videos and an actual course with CE. So that's why we decided to put our course into your learning management system.
Perfect. So when I went through the program, we kind of shuffled things a little bit so that it had a logical progression. So the initial consult, the diagnosis, the rationale, case presentation, airway issues, evaluating the cephalometrics. But you also looked into some of the things that I didn't spend as much time on, such as habits and
Mhm.
some of the commonly utilized appliances. So I thought that was really nice.
Yep.
You break down into the various skeletal imbalances,
Mhm.
transverse, both skeletal and dental. You talked about how you would expand the appliances. You talked about the differences between fixed and removable appliances.
Mhm.
But my focus is entirely on removable, but it's good that our doctors understand that you can actually do things with fixed as well. You have a section on sagittal or anterior posterior skeletal imbalances, vertical skeletal imbalances, and of course you break down the angles classification, class 2, class 3. Um, there's nice information about um, permanent teeth impactions and the use of limited fixed braces. And again,
Mhm.
some of the areas that I don't go much into, but it's good that people have tools in their toolkit. What I wanted, perhaps a little bit of feedback from you,
Mhm.
is um, the things that you focus a lot of energy on that I have no solution for my students is phase one aligners and that transition between phase one and phase two.
Sure, sure. And honestly, the technique that you teach, which is totally fine, it really relies on two things. And this is just my understanding from taking your course. One, having a really good parent and patient. And there's a lot of great parents and patients, and it takes time to learn to partner with the right parent and patient. This will take you time to learn to see that. Over time, as you start treating more cases, you'll start to see red flags. And you know, if you are a parent your own, you start to see things a little earlier, you know, especially if you have kids about that age. You know when they're full of you know what, and they're making things up, and when someone's lying and everything like that. And you have to pick the right team to partner with. That's really important. The other thing that you teach in your course that makes it successful is that you have to start. Timing is very important, and it's not necessarily based on the patient's age, but it's based on their dental development. And if you pick all that correctly, your system will work. It will 100% work. But occasionally you're trading one great patient and parent, and they're like, well, what about the sibling? And you know, they're already coming to you anyways, and they're begging you, but maybe they're more far advanced and we can't do your system of removables. Maybe they're, to use your word, which I now kind of stole, quicksand. Maybe they're in quicksand where we're losing C's and D's, and we can't really do your system anymore. Maybe we're two, but we're still maybe in phase one, or maybe we're a little past phase one and we want to treat them. So that's why, you know, maybe we have to put on a few braces or do some phase one aligners. And that's why I made my program.
Oh, wonderful. The final thing that I really wanted to touch on is my program leads the doctors into joining a mentorship group where I train groups of dentists and pediatric dentists so that they can interact with each other and learn through each other's cases. In your program, there's a drive to more one-on-one coaching. So tell us a little bit about that specific program that you have into the future.
Yeah, sure. So the course that you're providing is just a on-demand course. So you can just do it your own time. And I'm always available for questions if you take the course. You know, you can reach out to me if you have any random questions, not a problem. But if you're looking for one-on-one support, I would say I haven't gotten into the study group that you have, but I think it's so cool. It's just, I can't imagine it seems like, I think it works out well for you because you're, you know, in Australia and you're not too many time zones. Probably a lot of people are more on the coast, on the East Coast that you're on, but in the US, it's insane with 6 time zones. It's almost impossible to do these full study clubs in the US. So I just started doing the one-on-one, and there's all different ways that they can communicate, whether we do like a Zoom like this and we're screen sharing, or if I also have access to a HIPAA compliant portal that is owned by the American Dental Association. I just rent it, I lease it. And everyone that joins my one-on-one program, you know, they will get access to that, and they can drag and drop cases every day and get answers within 24 hours, which is cool. 7 days a week, 365 days a year. That's how I structured it. Just to have the most flexibility so that you guys know someone is always, I like think of it like there's always an orthodontist in your back pocket, you know. And I kind of modeled this after being married to my husband, like I said, who's a general dentist who does ortho, and he loves having an ortho in his back pocket. He asked me this morning, 8 a.m. He's like, can you look at this case? You know, and he knows he can always get an answer from me same day, and he loves it. So I was hoping to treat the rest of you kind of like I treat my family.
Oh, wonderful. Well, we share the same surname, so we are kind of
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Amanda, for sharing your insights and your time. I hope that between us we can continue to advance this knowledge base for primary care providers about interceptive orthodontics, and then allow them to provide a greater opportunity to care for the children in their communities. So I
One
think
less
good.
jaw surgery, one less
Yes,
extraction case is all I'm asking for. That's great.
wonderful, wonderful. Excellent. Well, thank you, Amanda, and
Thank you.
hopefully, guys, this will give you a good reason to explore some of the things that Amanda Wilson, with her company Straightsmile Solutions, has to offer in My Phase One Smile.
Thank you.
Right. Before we go, I'll quickly just share some interesting. We're about to launch, so But this is the website we're using, Teachable, where we're gonna house Amanda's phase 1 interceptive course. Is about 13 hours and 90 or so little videos that we've uploaded, 13 hours in total. And there's also a lot of handouts, right, Amanda, which you've been very
Yeah,
generous with.
yeah.
You
So you
normally
guys
on
get
your
a lot of
website,
bonuses that we don't
yeah,
give
that
my other people. So I want to make it like the ROI really big for you guys. So
yeah. Yeah. So on your as you'll see on Amanda's website, she sells these individually for $20. And if you were to get her CE version of this 13-hour course, it's like roughly $600 or whatever, somewhere around there. And then on top of that, you'd have to pay $20 a pop for each of these
yeah, they get
individual.
three. I think it's either 3 or 5 handouts. I think it's 3. I can't
Yeah.
remember with the course. They have to tell me which ones they want. I don't do the 25 with the course just because
You've given the house. You've given, these are great
you guys
handouts.
got everything I think that
You
would
know,
be useful. And in addition, I offer anyone that takes this course, you're welcome to have a phone call with me as well. We can go over any of these, not a case necessarily, but we can go over any of these forms or any questions you have
that's
on the
fantastic.
content. So we can definitely, I feel like the ROI is going to be high on this course.
Yes, definitely. So, on Teachable, we're going to price it at $497. So, but we do have a special during the launch, and there's a website. If you're interested, don't pay $497. It's just $397. So additional
That's a good deal.
$100 off for the 13-hour non-CE version of this program, and it includes all the handouts, all 25, I think. Yep. We've included. So thank you, Amanda. And just to clarify, your husband is also a Wong, so that's why we joke about we're all one big family. So we have the same surname.
Know that.
And a Wilson, that your husband is actually, so it's kind of funny. It's all meant to be, but so it's great that we have this family offering.
I think we figured out going way back, we might be cousins by now.
Well, probably, yeah, exactly. That's so funny. All right, thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Simon. So click on the links below to register for the pre-launch or the launch special. All right, guys, take care.
Awesome.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Aloha.
Bye.